Liberian government is in no way trying to prevent anybody from going overseas to study. Our intention is to make sure the process is guided. Liberians who are going overseas are going with the knowledge of the government. Human interest. We suffering. We get strong inflation. Yeah. So when people comment or comment, they're taking the whole street. We are always on top of the issues. We have reported many of the top breaking news and will report them again this year as we hopping. Thank you, Liberia, for building trust in us in just a short while. OK Newsnet. We are the champions of Liberia's news presentation.
Indeed, we are the champions of Liberia's news presentation, Newsnet on OKFM 99.5. Welcome. My name is Fatu Kamara, anchoring this edition. Coming up on Newsnet, World Bank lifts suspension on Liberia's access to unwithdrawn loans as the country clears all overdue payments. Representative-elect Musa Belete eyes speakership of the 55th legislature, promises reform of the lower house if elected speaker. WIAC Liberia office refutes speculation that government stopped payment of WAS fees for 9th and 12th graders, says the Bwaka Kung administration is yet to officially meet the council. Of the home front now, Nigeria's president has delivered his first budget since taking office as the country faces a deepening cost of living crisis. These stories plus more are coming up first after this break. Welcome back. Vanny Duplessis sets the pace with a bulletin of news.
Hello, Liberians. The World Bank has issued a communication to Finance Minister Samuel Tuwe informing him that it has lifted a suspension of Liberia's access to unwithdrawn loans following the government decision to clear all of its undue debt. Recently, the World Bank, through its International Development Association, issued a communication stating that it was suspending Liberia's withdrawal of the loans, noting that the country has reached 60 days overdue on its debt payment to the bank. But a communication dated November 28, quoting the bank as saying the World Bank has received that's all overdue payments referred to in the suspension notice. The bank claimed that Liberia is now current on all payments owed by the bank. Nimba County District 7 Representative-elect Musa Belete says he is contesting the speakership at the House of Representatives to ensure dignity of the lower house. Belete said his ambition comes following requests made by some old and new lawmakers asking him to contest the speaker positions. According to Representative-elect Belete, the legislature will be business as usual, adding that he is aiming for the highest seat as the House to ensure a host of reforms. He pledged to ensure harmonious working relationships with the executive branch of government if he becomes Speaker of the House of Representatives. The West African Examination Council Liberia office has refuted social media speculation that it is collecting WAS fees from all 9th and 12th graders in public schools. WAC latest clarification comes in wake of alleged action of school authorities collecting WAS fees from 9th and 12th graders. It also refutes speculation that the payment of WAS fees has come to an end. WAC Liberia, through its communication director, Prince Nangwe, said the outgoing government has since remained committed to paying the WAS fee for all students writing the regional exams. He added that the incoming government has not also informed authorities of WAEC that it would not shoulder the responsibility of the payment of WAS fees for students writing the exams in 2024. Liberian historian Dr. Artemis Gay says deceased President William V. Stockman was an accident president who who could have done a lot more for the state resources during his administration. He maintains that the late President Tubman, including his predecessor Edwin Barclay, did not consider themselves as American Liberians. As such, their full collaboration with the United States government did not benefit Liberia's interest. The US-based Liberian historian told the Wednesday edition of the OK Money Rush that President Tubman's open door policy was just a means of letting the world inform that Liberia was open to business as part of the effort to create space for other countries wanting to work with Liberia at the same time. Speaking about the MCC fiscal year 2024 scorecard, Dr. Gay said, although Liberia passed 14 of the 20 indicators, it does not make the country qualify for financial assistance. He maintains that a successful pass of almost all the indicators could qualify Liberia for financial assistance. The Liberian House of Representatives is hoping to extend its irregular session in order to deliberate on the 2024 draft national budget owing to the delay in its submission by the executive branch of government. It can be recalled, President George Weah requested an extension of the 2024 fiscal draft national budget by 26 working days as of October 31, 2023. According to a release, the basis for the request for extension is premised on the just ended presidential and legislative elections which have impacted the preparation of the 2024 national budget. The release, which quoted the Liberian leader, says as a result of these activities, the budget preparation process was continuously interrupted. The Liberian leader, however, said the interruption have caused a delay to the timely submission of the budget as stated in section 17.1 of the amended and restated Public Financial Management Law of 2019. APM Terminals Liberia has again showcased its commitment to corporate social responsibility by donating essential supplies and food items to 3 groups of disadvantaged individuals with disabilities. The distribution, which took place on November 13, was made possible by APM Terminal team of volunteers. The beneficiaries of the generous donation are the Disabled Rights Association of Liberia, represented by its Executive Director Peter Canio, the Antoinette Tubman Cheshire Home, and the Group of 77 Disabled Center. In remarks, Peter Canio, on behalf of the Disabled Rights Association, assured that the items will be used for the intended purpose. He termed the gesture as worthy, noting that the 2 mentioned organizations have previously benefited from APM Terminals Liberia's Go Green CSR program, where they received fresh fruits and vegetables sourced from local farmers in rural parts of Liberia. 3 officials of the Women Human Rights Defenders Network of Liberia are calling on the state to ensure protection for defenders of women human rights across the country. They include Antonin Facia Harris and Antonin Mombedo Joa and Rosetta Fadolo. The women stated that defenders of women's rights are in various areas of the country defending the rights of women and girls. However, their lives are at risk with little or no protection for them. Appearing on the OK Money Rush Wednesday, the women also stressed the need for support for national government towards helping to defend women's rights. They frowned at people dictating how women should dress in public, saying it is not a justification for women and girls being raped by men. And allegedly, that's a vehicle reportedly assigned to Deputy Police Director for Operation Marvin Saka was involved in an accident along the Ganta-Sanikole Highway in District 2, Nimba County. It can be recalled that the vehicle was traveling from Monrovia to the Republic of Ivory Coast for Seoul when it got involved into an accident which resulted to serious damage. There has been no death reported following the incident on Monday afternoon. However, it was observed that the official police 102 license plate was removed from the car and replaced with a private license plate. Sources from within the Liberia National Police in Nimba told our correspondent that they identified the vehicle to be the assigned vehicle of Deputy Police Boss Marvin Sacco. The Liberia National Police, through its public affairs section, is yet to clarify the latest report, despite calls and text messages sent to police spokesman Moses Carter. The Liberian Senate has unanimously endorsed the investment incentive agreement between the Republic of Liberia and Bonum Enterprises Incorporated, marking a pivotal step towards the construction of a state-of-the-art petroleum storage terminal. According to Front Page Africa, the agreement, initially ratified by the House of Representatives in September, following exhaustive reports from its Joint Committee on Investment and Concession, Judiciary and Ways, Means of Finance, Development Planning, paves the way for the establishment of a 25,000 Mount ultra-modern petroleum storage facility. Bonum Enterprise Incorporated, a 100% Liberia-owned oil and gas importation and distribution company with over 12 years of successful operation in Liberia, is set to spearhead the ambitious project. The agreement, signed on April 21, 2023, aims to address the imminent shortage of petroleum products in Liberia. The Senate approval, after a review of the instrument, underscores the perceived substantial benefits the investment holds for the nation. The administration of the Executive Protection Service, headed by the Director Trocon Roberts, has been entangled into a corruption scandal and a calculated plot to implicate and hold liable some board and management team members of the agency's development fund, which has backfired, bringing the institution to public disrepute. It can be recalled that in June 2018, over 800 agents of the APS adopted a constitution under the banner Executive Protection Service Employees Development Fund to afford them the opportunities to accumulate, saving, and create credit facilities for themselves from which they can obtain loans for productive and provide purposes at fair interest rate of 5%. The Chief Executive Officer of ANVAL Liberia and High Power Exploration has congratulated President George Weah and President-elect Joseph Boakai for holding a peaceful and transparent elections in Liberia. In a letter of congratulations to the President-elect Joseph Boakai dated November 28, Madam Browning Barnes expressed her willingness to work with the President-elect for the improvement of Liberia and Liberians. And elsewhere, away from home, 4 Moroccan migrants died off Spain's southern coast of Cadiz, with 4 others being taken to hospital for severe hypothermia. The bodies of the 4 who apparently drowned were found on Wednesday near their boat that had been carrying 32 other migrants. 27 of the occupants were reportedly forced to jump off the sea, but the crew and 23 were rescued alive. And 2 hostages who have just crossed over into Israel, a mother and daughter in Iranian 73 and Yeleni Tomponvo 50. The hostages and missing families forum has just provided us with some of the information. As according to the BBC, they said the family are Russian immigrants living in Israel, and that Iranian who has worked all her life as a doctor, while Eleni, also known as Lena, works for a paint company. Both Iranian and Eleni were kidnapped from their home in Kibbutz now on October 7 as they spent the Sabbath together, along with Yelena's son Elzana and his girlfriend Sapi Cohen, who are still believed to be held captive by Hamas. And that's the latest from the newspaper.
Vani, and the latest from the newsroom. They're bringing us up to 18 minutes past 6 o'clock. A reminder, you are listening to Newsnet on OKFM 99.5, and stories we're following World Bank lifts suspension on Liberia's access to unwithdrawn loans as the country clears all overdue payments. Representative-elect Musa Belete eyes speakership of the 55th legislature, promises reform of the lower house if elected speaker. While Liberia office refutes speculation that government stopped paying that's payment of WAS fees for 9th and 12th graders, says the Bwaka Kung administration is yet to officially meet the council. We take another break to be back with the voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back. Nimba County District 7 Representative-elect Musa Belete says he is contesting the speakership at the House of Representatives to ensure dignity of the lower house. Belete said his ambition comes following requests made by some old and new lawmakers asking him to contest for the speaker position. According to Representative-elect Belete, the legislature will be business as usual, adding that he is aiming for the highest seat at the House to ensure host of reforms.
After this consultation and after listening to my colleagues, I have graciously accepted their call for me to contest the speakership of the 55th legislature. I do so knowing that the Liberian people wins and the decisions of those before us. That is why 48 of them were rejected by the Liberian people. That 48 sent a signal to the Liberian people that the incoming legislators have been given sufficient mandate to change the way the legislature is run and to change public perception of legislative leadership. I've reviewed for some time now the function of the legislature. I've taken my time, appreciated that at the lower house, it is time to change how the lower house is governed.
Nimba County District 7 Representative-elect Musa Belete there. The West African Examination Council in Liberia office has refuted social media speculation that it is collecting WAS fees from all 9th and 12th graders in public schools. WIAC Liberia latest clarification comes in a wake of alleged action of school authorities collecting WAS fees from both 9th and 12th graders. It also refutes speculation that the payment of WAS fees has come to an end. Here now is WIAC Liberia Communication Director Prince Nabi.
All schools across the country should not collect a dime from any 12th grader when it comes to the customized mathematical set. The government pays the fees when the registration commences. Now, because it is government, so government has to source the money. Right now, we have not commenced registration, so the government has not paid. But let me make this clear. WIAC is not a political entity. So those things are trending on Facebook, they are all wrong. About WIAC saying the government is not paying the fees. So the 12 graders will not pay. Public school 9 graders will not pay until the government says what she has to say about that. Until you go, the government is continuing it. Yes. So the fact that the government that is supposed to take over, as I said, anything pertaining that, why knows that when the candidates themselves are paying the fees, as soon as we say registration has commenced, everybody will start paying, and you know, obviously, everybody will not, all the schools can pay on time. You see, this. Other school will pay for it, other school will pay settle. But the government will have to source the money. So sometimes, based on the government's position, she could pay early, she could pay in the middle, but paying at the 11th hour would be like a problem for us because the whole test is preparation. But the whole crux of this discussion now is that why has not said to anybody that the government are paying the fees, and that should be.
WIEC Liberia Communication Director Prince Nangbe there. Liberian historian Dr. Atimus Gay says deceased President William V.S. Tubman was an accidental president who could have done a lot more with the state resources during his administration. He maintains that the late President Tubman, including his predecessor Edwin Barclay, did not consider themselves as American Liberians as such. Therefore, collaboration with the United States government did not benefit Liberia's interest. Dr. Atimus Gay made the statement on Wednesday edition of the OK Morning Watch.
What we know on open door policy, Tubman realized that we couldn't just deal with the United States alone. So he opened up to Sweden. Don't forget our biggest trading partner was Germany during the Barclay era. United States thought that since we are this country that came out of his belly, it could bully us. United States literally told us to shut our doors down to the Germans. And there was entrapment in the arrangement that Barclay was forced to turn over power. But Germany was doing so well in Liberia. Most of what we had were Germans and Dutch run company before the Tubman era. So the open door policy was that but in Sweden, that's why you have Lamco. It's a joint company. So the Swedish will be in Liberia, and so other companies that will come. But again, as I said to you, now because we can review history, these were all extractive industries. They were meant to come and dig a hole in your country. Now, we were not a literal culture. So it was a mean to help educate our young people to be part of it. But it was late. The guys, when they didn't care, they were taking as much as they could take. So you see, most often, yes, other people will be brought over to be educated to help with it, but they were all low-level managers. But the bulk of it were all controlled by the whites. And our minerals will be taken. Liberia will struggle with a little revenue generated, and that's how it was. For us, what Tubman did, they are good and they're bad. I try to be fair with every president that I critique. I like his boldness to tell the United States the $5 million loan that you just supposed to have a bank or the bank of Monrovia. I think we need to graduate from it. So it's a good thing that you can tell your developing partner or your fellow nation that you have a vision for yourself. Tubman did that to the United States because they were basically dictating what development we should do. For example, the beautiful executive mansion, they didn't want us to build it. Tubman said, no, I'm going to build it. I have the money, I can do it. So he took a bold step in that direction and good because he had it.
Dr. Atimus Gay, the Liberia historian, also speaking about MCC fiscal year 2024 scorecard. Dr. Gay said though Liberia passed 14 out of 20 indicators, it does not make the country qualified for financial assistance. He at the same time cautioned the outgoing joint presidential transition team to make use of Executive Order 91 to ensure a well-defined transition of power.
Liberia passed, but we are the lowest of the 5 nations. We scored the lowest in all. So if you make 50, other people making 80 and 90, you can parade yourself as, if you're not going to get what you're supposed to get in the interview or upon a job. So a good we pass. Can we do better? Yes, and I pray to God that this time around we'll do far better. And then good thing is the election went well because you see Sierra Leone passed. Sierra Leone have been enjoying this MCC money, but Sierra Leone would not get it again. Bill had just taken it away from Sierra Leone. So this election is a good thing. Then the issue about the fiscal space. Now, if the incoming administration can roll up it nicely known what was taken from the country, it will help a lot because Sierra Leone on a bill benefited a lot from the scorecard because it went after
Dr. Atimos Gay, the Liberia historian, in conversation with Clarence Jackson of our staff. And if you just joined us, you're listening to Newsnet on OKFM 99.5, 45 minutes of other news at the moment. And it brings the news that matters to you. Top stories we following this morning. World Bank lifts suspension on Liberia's access to unwithdrawn loans as the country clears all overdue payments. Representative-elect Ability eyes speakership of the 55th legislature, promises reform of the lower house if elected speaker. White Liberia office refutes speculation that government stopped payment of WAS fees for 9th and 12th graders, says the Bwaka Kong administration is yet to officially meet the council. An allegedly looted vehicle reportedly assigned to Deputy Police Director for Operations Marvin Sakor was involved in an accident along the Ganta-Sanikole Highway in District 2, Nimba County. It is alleged that a vehicle was traveling from Monrovia to the Republic of Ivory Coast for sale when it got involved into an accident which resulted to serious damage. Closed sources from within the police in Nimba told our correspondent that they identified the vehicle to be a signed vehicle of Deputy Police Boss Marvin Sakor. Franklin Dolokwi is our Nimba County correspondent.
Thank you very much, Augustine. Good morning. Well, it's belonging to 102. His name is Marvin Sakor. His vehicle was involved in a motor accident between Ganta-Sanikole Highway in District number 2. We have been informed that this alleged vehicle was looted and was taken from Liberia to Africa to go sell it, and they were involved in this motor accident.
So how did you establish that the vehicle allegedly belongs to 102?
Sources from the police circles here they informed OKFM that this vehicle is belong to 102.
Where is the vehicle currently?
The vehicle is currently in Sanikole.
Have you heard anything from the Liberia National Police relative to that vehicle and maybe the case taken to the police there in Sanikole?
Well, I placed a call to the police spokesman Moses. Up to present, the phone rang, there has been no response. Like he visited the traffic police area, the traffic police corner for Nimba County, Jerome, in Sanikole, and he said just forget they are conducting an investigation as well.
Our Nimba County correspondent Franklin Dolokwi there. Meanwhile, the Liberia National Police, through its public affairs section, is yet to clarify the latest report despite calls and text messages sent to police spokesman Moses Kato. Another development from Nimba County says a 58-year-old man was reported or is reported dead after a tree fell on him in the county. Here once again is Franklin Dolokwi.
Yes, so man took part in his body, the runoff election. The next day he have gone on a farm and tree killed him. And yesterday too, one of Moses Kra was dead. He was for the 53 years old. Moses have gone to work on his farm when tree killed him instantly.
How did it happen? Was he felling the tree down or?
No, he was working on a tree fell on him.
Okay, it seems there was experience of heavy breeze or something like that.
I believe this is what really happened.
Okay, what's the reaction like from family members, especially his fiancé, children, all the relatives? What are you hearing from them?
It's just a powerful event, and people have been there to talk with the bereaved family. But yesterday he was there to everybody. It's not okay in the afternoon, and the people have their culture that such a thing happen. No need that they tell people say, let's take a bite to the funeral. So
Our Nimba County correspondent Franklin Dolokwi. Three officials of the Women Human Rights Defenders Network of Liberia are calling on the state to ensure protection for defenders of women human rights across the country. They include Attorney Fasia Harris, Attorney Mambedo Joa, and Rosetta Fadolo. The women stated that defenders of women's rights in various areas of the county defending the rights of women and girls, their lives are at risk with little or no protection for them. Women human rights defender also found at people dictating how women should dress in the public, saying it is not a justification for women and girls being raped by men.
So we will say again that women human rights defenders are human rights defenders. They are people who are working in the communities. They are working at the national level, at the global level, in contributing to the defense of people's rights. But they are women, so we want to be able to say that these are women, and we already know that the issue around gender equality in our society, so that places more emphasis on the work that women are doing, contributing towards national peace, development, the promotion of social justice. So those are reasons why it's important to recognize the work, because day and night these defenders across Liberia, across communities, even the world globally, people really do not understand what they do, right? So we have women human rights defenders across sectors. Women human rights defenders are working on health issues, working on sexual reproductive health and rights, that are working on sexual gender-based violence issues. They are working on issues relative to the protection of women human rights defenders and raise these issues like we are doing now. So, for example, if a woman who defends people's rights has an issue, we provide that solidarity and raise awareness so that other people, to bring visibility to her issue. That's how it functions. Maybe Fasia can talk more about. Yeah, so like you said, when you say support is a collective, we working in a space mentioned earlier, in a space of where we're trying to create solidarity amongst ourselves and collective advocacy and all that. So there's no where we can point to you to say the Women Human Rights Defenders Network is getting money from somewhere. Okay. Individual work that we're doing at our institutional levels, maybe on the different thematic areas that we're working on, we get support to do limited support in some instances to do some of the work that we do. But the network is a space for us to come together and say, let's organize here, let's be able to support, because there are some instances where you on the front line, you get threatened. Sometimes we need to provide support where women human rights defenders right here in Liberia get temporary relocation, because if they're reporting on a particular issue and those who feel threatened by those reports come after them, we need to provide security for them. Sometimes they encounter traumatic situations and they need counseling.
Attorney Fasia Harris, Mambedo Joa, and Rosetta Fadolo are women human rights defenders there, calling on the state to ensure protection for defenders of women human rights across the country. Let's take your comments. And Shelton Duo writes, he says, good morning, OKFM. This government getting good scorecard upon their exit. The last time I checked, NCC scorecard or scored good grade. Today we are hearing another good news again. It is because of the blessings from either Joseph Yuma Boakai. Our country image is about to be lifted up high. You see how our old men bringing blessings in Liberia? Congratulations to Liberia for such a wonderful news. He says he respectfully submits as a proud son of Nimba County. Jeke Fokba Koya writes, he says, OKFM, the worst decision ever our lawmakers will make in our political history is to make Musa Ability Speaker. This man has destroyed the FA. He has destroyed Liberty Party. He is ever banned by FIFA in Liberia. What make you think he can rebrand and manage the lower house? How will he also say he will coordinate the house with the executive when he has told the Liberian people that he can never work with JNB? This man is noted for breaking down institutions. If our lawmakers make him speaker, they will go to the hottest part of hell. It is Jeke Fokwa Konya, he says, national chairman, Liberians United to elect Joseph Boakai. Jeremiah Fokwa Joseph Guzet Dede writes, thanks to the World Bank for lifting the ban on Liberia credit. Also thanks to the outgoing government for settling the issue with the World Bank. Johnny Colume Senior writes, he says, good morning, OKFM. Good morning to the peace-loving people of Palala City, Bon County. I join you from the office of the Rescue Defenders on Kiri Street. Thanks to the outgoing government for setting Liberia credit. And Musa Bilete would never be speaker because he said that he can't support anything that has to do with Joseph Yoma Boakai being president of Liberia, so we don't trust him. Lawrence Akwe Wewo writes, he says Musa Hassan Bilete cannot be trusted in our body politics, especially for the highest seat, the speakership. He cannot be trusted. Musa has been indicted by FIFA, so we cannot trust him with the speakership. He should stay far away from the seat. Moses Kessley writes, he says, thanks to the World Bank for lifting the ban on our government, and thanks to Honorable Samuel Tuwel for his steadfastness in making sure that the opposition will not add to their make-up stories. B. Roosevelt Wimper writes, free education and payment of works is not a good policy. It needs to be cancelled. Honorable Mohammed Nabi Kroma the first writes, he says, good morning, Goki FM and the peace-loving people of Swan Mecca District, Bombing County. Thanks to the World Bank for lifting of the ban on Liberia, but it was in Liberia as borrower will forget to service her loan payment. We hope that the Minister of Finance in the Rescue Administration under Joseph Yoma Boakai will avoid such embarrassing situation. Happy birthday, Joseph Yoma Boakai, he says. Milton Joa writes, he says, okay, FM, I wholeheartedly please for this bank. Let me kindly applaud her efforts, though I am not a supporter of it, and hope that the incoming government will ably strategize in its own power to economically balance our livelihood, but not to blame country's debts with World Bank again, as it was early stated. He says he's Milton Joa. The Lutheran Church in Liberia, through its Gender Justice Department, has embarked on 16 days of activism against gender-based violence in Liberia. The church called on Liberians to unite in collectively